My name is Felicia. I am married to my husband, Dave, my high school sweetheart, for the last 17 years. I have 3 daughters that are teenage down to elementary, and we moved to Texas about 7 years ago. I've just always been a very quiet, timid person, but I also always felt that there was something inside of me that God has called me to do. I honestly always just thought of that either being you are on stage ministering to people, or you're in the background serving to make things happen. It was very black or white for me, you're one or the other. And I knew I was never gonna, nor did I ever want to be in front of people, so I was always just gonna be behind. I think I've just been so comfortable in this seat of sideline participator, and for some reason at Refresh 18, something stirred in my spirit that I started to feel I'm tired of being comfortable. I just felt the Lord was you need to live boldly, and stop being behind the scenes, and there's something that I want you to do. And that was the first time that I had walked through Dream Lab. So at the end of the weekend, as I walked into Dream Lab and sat down, I very quickly remember thinking this is not for me, this is for somebody else. And the Lord very gently was just you need to walk through this process, this is for you. And so as I sat there and I followed the promptings that were given to me, all these ideas just came into my mind that were not for me. So I just started writing down all these ideas, and what that was God had given me this idea to host my girls and their friends in their home, and just speaking about truths and foundational things that I was hoping that they would learn. After I left Refresh, I came home and I got out of the car, and my family greeted me in the garage, and they all looked at me and they were something's different about Mom. She just looks lit up. And I really feel that Refresh 18, that God just awakened something inside of me that I just never knew was there. And I was just forever changed, that there's something that He's put inside of us that we'll try really hard to keep dormant and to not have to bring it forward. But He's not this scary God. He'll take those baby steps with you at your own pace. And for some people move really quickly, but I'm just a slower paced person. And so He was so good in that with me. And so over the next 8 months, I just spent time with the Lord, where He just continued to deposit ideas and a message, and also as well as a craft for these nights that I had planned for my daughters and their friends. And so we had 5 nights over the course of 7 months where I invited my 2 oldest girls and their closest friends over to our home and worked through some of these things that God had deposited. I think maybe a few months later or a year later, Sarah had reached out and asked if they could pull some of this as a resource to have available for the Refresh women. And so out of that, we pulled all of my hand-scribbled notes and recipes and craft ideas together and formulated the Refresh Girls workbook. What little thing I thought I was doing, which didn't really, I knew it was a big thing. I knew that this was something that God was putting inside of me to do for my girls, in the hopes that it would just impact their lives, but to now see that it's also impacting other people and their families and hopefully generations, I think is really incredible. I think what it means to lead is to be led by God and obey. I think it always was looked one way to me, and that meant in spotlight on a stage for pastors or speakers or worship leaders. But I think what I've learned through Refresh was that we are all leaders and we're all called to lead. And oftentimes it might not be in the way that we have always imagined it to be, like on a stage, but it might just be the stage that He's laid before us in our homes or our neighborhoods or our workplace. He's given us places to lead and have impact and to be an engaging influencer to those that are before us and around us. I think God, as our head coach, wants to put us in the game, and He doesn't want us just sitting on the sidelines, but He wants us to be an active player in partnership with Him and His kingdom. So I would just say, if you're feeling that call in your heart, if your heart is racing, or there's this idea that's coming to your mind, and it just seems big, or maybe it seems small, like, get uncomfortable. And He's not like, our God is a God that we can trust, and He will walk us through uncomfortable things, but He's gonna do it in a way that is personal and gracious to you and how He's wired you. And so it's okay to get out of this comfortable seat and get uncomfortable with what He's called you to do.